Thank you so much for that. And I think that moves us kind of seamlessly on to Darren, who's the interim managing director for Stagecoach East, who's going to give us a bit more of an update, as Regina said. So I'll hand straight over to Darren.
So, wow, what a difference. Just bear with 2 ticks. I'm just going to start sharing the screen again. So, wow, what a difference a year makes, yeah? We were all set prior to March 2019 to really drive some big service uplifts down the busway. Massive vehicle investment. We'd converted some of the workshop space to allow these vehicles to be maintained. We'd upgraded our engineering facilities, and we'd employed 40% more drivers. And we were literally ready to push the button on the service uplift when we got the call from the Prime Minister that we were going into lockdown at the end of March. So literally everything stopped within days of that phone call. As some of you will remember, we had we went into the massive lockdown, and I'll share a graph with you very, very shortly that shows that passengers dropped by 94% on the busway. So it had a significant impact on us. The challenge, therefore, came about actually the commercial viability of the whole bus network, not only just in Cambridge and on the busway, but across the UK. And the government, unfortunately, stepped in to provide levels of support for all bus operators to enable us to run a service to support not only the key workers that required to use public transport, but also those individuals who don't have any other means of transport at all. And throughout the pandemic, throughout the last year, you know, I'm really proud of the team at Fenstanton because they have just kept going. You know, we've had drivers that have kept driving the track. We've had engineers in obviously making sure the vehicles are maintained correctly, and we've had the presentation team working on cleaning them as well. So it's been a really for Fenstanton and certainly the busway. And we still have restrictions in place. Our social distancing capacities on the vehicles are still in place. Just to give you an idea there, you can see a double-deck vehicle generally has about 75 seating capacities. With the restrictions in place by the government, that's now down to 32. And we have no idea when those increases may come back. There's some anticipation that might be when the June uplift comes, when social restrictions are lifted. On June the 21st, but at this moment in time, we have no idea how that's going to look, which obviously has a massive impact on passenger carrying capacity. We have done a huge amount of work in terms of getting our vehicles safe. We have a good presentation team. We have employed more members of that presentation team. And we are also asking drivers now to carry out in-service sanitizations of the key touch points. So the hand pulls, the hand seats, the seats on the hand pulls, the bell pushers, things that passengers would touch on a daily basis. So we've got the drivers involved as well. Each vehicle now overnight has a thorough deep clean. We've also fitted special filters to the heating and ventilation system on the vehicles. These filters are fitted with a special coating that has an antibacteria and an antivirus film to improve the air quality within the vehicles. So with the work that we've done and how we've developed our processes over the last year, I'm really confident that the vehicles are safe and they are clean. And obviously from April 11th, we've had a big service uplift. And again, I want to share with you a slide later on in the pack that'll give you a little bit more information of where we were pre-COVID in terms of service levels and where we stand as of the. So I said I'd share with you just a graph of just the impact that COVID has had on the busway. So this graph shows you the orange level, the orange bars are where we were in terms of passenger numbers pre-COVID. So you can see where we are there. At the bottom of the graph, you've got the different lockdowns that we've coloured. So you can see when we went into lockdown 1, we started to come out of lockdown 1, and we had a period of time over the summer where we weren't in a lockdown, but obviously then lockdown 2 arrived. Then we went into tier 4, which was just before Christmas, that very, very quickly moved into lockdown 3. And then we're obviously starting to climb out of that. So as you can see, lockdown 1, when it first kicked off, we lost 94% of our passengers, and we've only ever managed to get back to 4 out of 10 passengers, which was in the tier 4. We just started creeping up a little bit there. And obviously, as you can see, lockdown 3 is tanked again as well. And the dip in the final chart at week 47 is obviously that's east to where we are now, where we sort of dip as well. So we are still 74% down on our pre-COVID passenger numbers, which is obviously a significant concern. We recognise the demographic that use the busway, and there's obviously a lot of people that use the busway that have got the ability to work from home now. So we obviously share the concerns about, is that patronage going to come back at all? But I hope that just gives you an indication of the challenges that we have faced over the last year, and the challenges that we face as well. But that said, we have not shied away from really putting every effort that we can in to get the service back up and running. So the top block there is before COVID. So we would start a Monday to Friday service at 5:51. We'd have 15 minutes throughout the day with a 5-minute AM peak service. And our last bus out of Cambridge back up the track was at 23:26. So jump to the bottom chart, and that tells you there exactly the types of service levels that we put in at the moment. So we're starting earlier. We've increased the frequencies. So we've gone from a 15-minute frequency to a 10-minute frequency. We've improved the frequencies of an evening, and we're coming later out of Cambridge as well. Okay, and you can see we've got some changes on both Saturday and Sunday. So we're throwing everything that we possibly can at this to try and get those customers back, to see it, to let it become a mode of transport into the city as well. So there's a lot of work that we're putting in the hope that we can start to get those customers. I guess some other service improvements that we've got going on there. We're obviously conscious about ticketing, and the very fact that more people can work from home now. We recognise they won't be coming in the office 5 days a week now, so we're looking at more flexible ticketing arrangements, looking at more of a bundle type fare. So, for example, you buy 4, you get 5 journeys free, or you buy 7, you get 10 free. So that allows you to travel into work a little less frequently, but still gain some advantage on the ticketing arrangements. I noticed on the community forum notes that I got, there was some concern about more vehicles to Adam Brooks and Long Road College. And as you can see, we've improved the service to Adam Brooks Monday to Saturday and on a Sunday, and the Route C that we've added on there, there's more double deck vehicles serving the college as well. Fares is always a contentious issue. It's a big challenge for me at the moment, bearing in mind that we've lost 74% of its passengers. We have not had a fare increase on the track since 2018. So fares are now 3-4 year old. However, I do recognise that there are concerns about where the North Store band is in terms of the Mega Rider and Mega Rider Plus. I do recognise this is a particular challenge for members of the community, and I will give a commitment to look at this as soon as I possibly can, because I do recognise we've got to do something about that. Okay, I do recognise we've got to do something about that. So there you are, a quick overview of where we are, where we were, where we are now, and what we're trying to do. I will now hand over and we'll have a Q&A session, if that's okay.
Lovely, thanks. That's really helpful presentation. So I haven't seen any questions come through at all on the Q&A. In fact, as I speak, one's come through. So I work in the science park, 3 stops. The cost of a weekly pass is £25, e-bikes £20, and I have an electric car which I can shortly charge for free at the science park. How do we ever get people out of their cars? The age-old question.
It's a classic one. That I recognise that what we've got to do some work in terms of the cost of bus travel compared to cost of car ownership. I absolutely get that. I absolutely get that. You can charge your Tesla or your electric vehicle at 9 pence per kilowatt hour. But I also know you've probably paid a lot of money for that car as well. So the challenge that I've got is trying to bridge that gap between the customers that we've got. How do we get them back on the track, and how do we give a fair value for the price of the ticket? And it's a particular challenge on mine, and I'm well aware of the issues that we've got to face. I don't have any answers for you tonight, I'll be honest with you. I understand one of them's the fare band, which I promised to have a look at.
Darren, that's really helpful. And there's a related question, which is some positivity around the bundle tickets that are not short-term limited would be a good solution. Say you buy 10-day travels you can spend in 3 months. So I think that's probably more of a comment, but I think that's probably, it sounds like something you're looking to do.
No, that's really interesting, because the one thing that, I'll be honest with you, does rack me off a little bit is we're really tight with our, you've got to use the ticket within so many months or things like that. And I think we've just got to recognise that the world has changed a lot, and I want people to have confidence to buy a ticket online, even if they don't need it yet. And it'll only, the expiry date will kick in when you start using it. And let's push that out to 6 months, 9 months, something like that. So we're looking at that as well.
So I think the next question here is probably one you're not going to have a perfect answer to, but you're probably going to be the best person to answer it, is around, you can travel halfway across London for less than getting into town. How do other areas of the country get to the same level of subsidy as the capital? Which you're
that's an easy one. Public transport in London costs the taxpayer £1 billion.
Lovely. And cheaper fare to Northstowe area is a recurrent issue brought forward, and we still cannot understand why not considered. But I think from what you said, you are thinking of this now.
I've given a commitment to look at that. I'll have a look at that. Yeah.
Brilliant. So just before I let you go, I'm just going to check the other feed. No other questions. So thank you so much for that, Darren. That's really helpful.